Hi everyone, I'm Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions MC and producer, and today I'm joined by Rayceen Pendarvis. Hey Rayceen.
Salutations, all. Salutations and greetings to everyone.
Yes.
Our guest is a 2020 candidate. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, this is Mónica Palacio, and I'm so glad to be with you, Rayceen.
Oh, we're so glad to have us. So, for our viewers tuning in, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, Rayceen, most recently, I was a director of the Office of Human Rights for 6.5 years here in Washington, D.C. I was appointed by Mayor Vincent Gray and then reappointed by Mayor Bowser. So I had the honor and the privilege of serving the residents of the District of Columbia by running an agency that was our civil rights enforcement agency and investigated complaints of discrimination, whether they were in housing, education, on the job, or in accessing government services. So that's a little bit about my career the last 10 years. Before that, I was an advocate, an activist. I traveled around the country, but I always invested and worked locally because I've been in DC now 30 years. And I moved here in 1990. I like to joke around that I've lived in DC since there was no metro on U Street. The young people go,
Isn't that amazing? But I tell people, believe it or not, I lived here my whole life, and where I'm living now was where they put the very first stop.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
The red line.
Yes.
The red line.
Yes, the notorious red line now.
Yeah.
So I came to DC. I was born in Colombia in South America, and my parents moved to the US when I was 3. So I lived in New York until I finished college. And my parents were hardworking immigrant parents, right? Because they wanted us to get an education. They wanted us to get ahead. But my first language was not even English. It was Spanish. And there were struggles back then, you know, trying to get through the system and get through school and figure out financial aid and things like that. But luckily, my mom is a warrior, and she figured it out for us. So I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to come to law school here in DC, and I always wanted to move to DC.
Same, that's why I moved here too. I moved here for school.
Like magic, you know? Yes. Things happen here in DC, and I found like-minded people, right? Activists that wanted to change the world.
Yes.
And I was hopeful, you know, in my 20s, and I'm still hopeful. So I started out working in the prison system with families that had an incarcerated parent. I started out working with kids involved in gang violence and affected by violence and their families. And I went on to do whatever project I could using every skill I had, because that's why I went to school. I didn't want to sit in an office on K Street, no offense, but you know, there are plenty of lawyers on K Street. I wanted to be out on the front line, and I've spent 30 years now here in DC, and it was always a dream of mine to be a lawmaker, right? To represent the people that are my neighbors and my friends and the families I love. So I decided last year to take that chance, and I left my job in February so that I could be the first Latina running for city council.
How about that?
Believe it or not, I'm the first.
Wow.
So, and that's like one piece of the puzzle, right? But I'm also qualified, and I've also run a government agency, and I've worked with the 30,000 employees of the district government. I've worked with, you know, so many different communities, you know, immigrant communities, faith communities, LGBT communities. You know, I've been out there every way that I can, and I want a chance now to represent our city on the city council.
So why did you think, and so why did you think this year was the, you know, perfect year for you to begin and to actually start running?
Right. Well, it was perfect until February. A little complicated and scary.
Yeah.
So I decided, because I wanted to run at large, and that's a challenging seat. That's to represent the whole city.
Yes.
And when Councilmember Grasso announced in November that he would no longer be seeking reelection. That was the moment, you know, the door opened, the lights went on, and I said, this is the time for me to do it. What am I waiting for?
And that's so important. You are living the American dream, and because you're living it, you're believing it, and you want to fight for change. So I think I applaud you.
Of course, and we love that. And you know, as someone who moved here as an immigrant myself, it's just great to see how, as your immigrant parents came here and made a life, and that you are now having an influence on this country. It's really beautiful to see. Tell me, what are your top 3 issues in this election?
Well, my dear, you know, if you had asked me just 3 months ago, I would have said, you know, public safety, housing, healthcare, you know, a lot of the top issues that we've been struggling with for decades.
Yeah.
But now, you know, we've had to reframe the future. So I think number 1 is an economic recovery plan that really includes all workers.
Yes.
And thinks about, you know, how do we prevent this from happening again? You know, we have businesses closing, we have families without food, we have families without health care. So we need to rethink our economy in the district so that we strengthen the systems that protect us and provide for our loved ones, right? So that is healthcare, that is education, and jobs, jobs, jobs. So many people are out of work right now that the unemployment systems are exploding and breaking down in this country. And I know that the DC Department of Employment Services is doing the very best they can, but nobody was prepared for this.
At all.
Nobody. So I think we need an economic recovery plan that's aggressive and also equitable, that you know, includes everybody. And that means that people like me and people like us need a seat at the table. You know, DC is a world-class city, but we don't have representation on the council for all the members of our communities in DC. We need more women, we need more LGBTQ folks, we need more voices like immigrants and people that have been here and have lifted up this city, built this city. They need a voice on the council, and I want to be there. You know, I want to be there so that we can rebuild, and not just rebuild, but rediscover who we are as a city and build solidarity from there. Because when money gets tight, people get pitted against each other.
Yes.
That's so very true.
You get some, but you don't, right?
Class wars.
You can't let that happen.
Definitely, I agree. So let the viewers know how they can support your campaign, how they can follow you. Let them know all that.
Oh, you're so kind. So I have a website, which is monicaforalldc.org. That's MONICA foralldc.org. You can follow me on Facebook, which I have a page called Elect Mónica Palacio. And I'm also on Twitter and Instagram. But if you go to my website, you can just one click will get you to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can also donate.
Yes.
And I want to share that DC has the Fair Elections Program funding candidates this year. So every dollar that a DC resident gives to a candidate is matched by $5 that are out of the public financing program. So it's an investment in democracy, right? Just give $10. Those $10 turn into $60, right? And the cap is $100 per person. So donations are very important because campaigns cost money, and I know money is tight right now, but even $5 goes a long way.
Yeah, I agree.
That's so very true. It's important that people give and make a difference.
And thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you so much.
It's always good to see you, Rayceen. And
it's an honor seeing you. Thank you for sitting down and taking the time to chat with us.
Absolutely. Anytime. You know, I'm a big fan.
But most of all, to our viewers, thank you for watching.